Just ahead on American Black Journal, we have a very special show for you featuring the brilliant jazz violinist Regina Carter. We'll talk with the Detroit native about her latest body of work and how it was inspired by a search for her ancestors. Plus, Regina will perform right here in our studio. Don't go away. American Black Journal is next.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. June is Black Music Month, and to celebrate, we have a very special guest on our program today. She's considered to be the leading jazz violinist of her generation, and she's a Detroit native. I'm talking about Regina Carter, who recently released a new collection of songs titled Southern Comfort. The album is her first on the Sony Music Masterworks label. Regina takes listeners on a musical journey tracing her father's roots in the South. She explores the spirituals, Cajun fiddle music, and folk tunes that her coal miner grandfather would have heard as he worked in Alabama. Here's a sample of the track titled Miner's Child. I'm pleased to welcome violinist extraordinaire Regina Carter to American Black Journal. So this album, first of all, I've got to say this, I've got you here. I am one of the biggest fans you probably have in the city of Detroit. I mean, I just think your work is extraordinary and so consistent across time. I have not heard all of the new album, but that's a fascinating theme for it. It's so introspective, but I feel like it's also something that you can share with other people in Detroit. We all have these stories in our families, and they pretty much trace the same roots, don't they?
Yes, a lot of them do. I started with two records ago, tracing my mother's side of the family with I'll Be Seeing You, and that was my healing record after she passed away.
Yeah.
And so I joined Ancestry.com and started finding information out about her side, and I did the DNA genealogy test, and it came back 73% West African, 13% Finnish, and the rest General Eastern European, just a wide net.
Yeah.
So I was very curious, and Reverse Thread came out of that as well, which I was interested in collecting music from mostly out of West Africa. And then I decided to sit down and deal with my father's side of the family,
right,
which is Southern Comfort comes from that. And it was really interesting to connect with other family members there and to find out information. And I knew that my grandfather, Dan John Carter, was born in 1893 in Georgia and then later moved to Alabama and became a coal miner.
Right.
So I was interested to hear what music might have been happening during his lifetime, and came across some brilliant music from the John Work III Foundation and also the Lomax collection at the Library of Congress. And all of these were field recordings, mainly lone voices singing melodies.
Right.
And then I asked different friends, other musicians and arrangers, to arrange some of these pieces for the specific band, and we came up with Southern Comfort.
Yeah, well, and the feel, I think, of this album, the feel that's you know, obvious, it's got to be obvious in your playing, is it's so personal, and I always feel like that for artists, that takes you to this different level with the work.
Yeah, well, it is our personal, all of us have our personal journey. The beautiful thing is learning that my father was the oldest of 14 children, and he moved up to Detroit, got a job at Ford Motor Company.
The auto companies.
That's right.
Right.
And people from all over the country were migrating to Detroit because of the automotive industry.
Sure.
Motown Records was here, so musicians there was plenty of work. There was a huge and vibrant jazz scene.
Yes.
The European classical scene, the symphony was strong. So you had people from all over, and I was exposed to other cultures as a youngster, going to school with kids from other cultures without having to leave Detroit. So Detroit has has a lot of special memories for me.
Yeah.
And people say, well, the South, why the South? Why do we hear all these different styles? Well, I was exposed to so many styles of music growing up here. And also, when you think about it, Detroit is just up south.
It's just, that's right, that's right. Everybody here, it seems like, can trace a part of their family back to someplace south, particularly in the African American community,
Exactly.
but also in the European community.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of them came from down south too.
Right, that's the whole Appalachia area, and that's where
Absolutely.
you get that special sound which we call Americana or
Right.
roots music.
Right, right. Talk to me about how you came to be interested in being a violinist. I mean, that's just not a very common career choice, and certainly not common to reach the levels of achievement that you did.
Well, you know, my mother's mother graduated from Morris Brown University in 1915
Okay.
with a degree in pedagogy for piano. So that was not common for women, and even
not at
less
all.
common for African Americans. So music was important in my family, and education. So my mother wanted my brothers and I to be exposed to music, so at a very early age she made sure we were in some kind of music classes. And
Yeah.
at 2 years old, I was told that I walked up to the piano and started working on one of the pieces my brother had been working on, and no one knew I could play.
Is that right?
So it seemed that I had a gift for music. So when I was 4, the Suzuki method was offered in Detroit
Okay.
for the very first time.
In the public schools.
Well, no, I'm 4, so I'm not
Okay.
even in
So
school
you're not
yet.
even in school yet,
So
right.
it was the Detroit Community Music School on John C. Lodge, I think in
Yeah,
Kirby, right where
right.
the Center for Creative
Where
Studies
CCS is now.
Yes.
I took lessons there too.
Yeah.
I took piano lessons there.
Everybody, yeah, you know. And when I grew up in Detroit in the 60s, music was in every public school. So
right.
every child had the exposure to music, whether you took it to a professional level or not. It was there, and we were exposed to it.
Sure.
And unfortunately now,
Yeah, that's not
it's not
common at
happening.
all.
And no, it's not. And so unless you have the means to send your child to have private lessons, a lot of youngsters don't have that exposure. Luckily, we have someone like Aaron Dworkin
Aaron,
here with his program, which is amazing and so needed. But so I was very fortunate to come up when I did.
Yeah, yeah. And so, obviously that opens the door for you to learn, but you took it to this unbelievable level. Talk to me about how you decided this is what you wanted to do.
Well,
with your life.
I fell in love with the violin as soon as I started
Yeah.
taking lessons.
Yeah.
And so, and my mother always said as a youngster that I was a ham. I loved being on stage. And so I just loved it. And I knew early on either I would be a teacher like my mother was or a violinist. And I've kind of melded the two together.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be in the Detroit Civic Symphony Orchestra, back then it was called. And then I went to, had a lot of opportunities here in Detroit, and then I went to New England Conservatory of Music in Boston for 2 years. Then I transferred to Oakland University up in Rochester, Michigan.
Yeah.
And when I auditioned at NEC, I auditioned for the jazz department and the European classical department and got into both. But once I was there, I made the decision that I really wanted to play jazz. So when I got to OU, the head of the jazz department then was Doc Marvin Holliday.
Okay.
And he was in charge of the big band. And I went to him and said, I want to play jazz. And he was like, okay. Sit there in the saxophone section, breathe when they breathe, phrase how they phrase. So he really started me. He said, stop listening to other violinists, start listening to horn players and singers.
To the other instruments that are more common.
Right, in the jazz idiom.
ensembles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. So was that a tough transition for you from classical to jazz at all?
No. And, and I have to throw this in when we say classical music. We always think European, we always think of Bach, Beethoven, Mozart.
Sure.
But every culture on this planet has its
their own-
classical music.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it happened to be European. No, my first teacher, my Suzuki teacher, Jane Rupert, she would, because with Suzuki, you learn to play by ear first. before you learn to read.
Right.
And she would do these exercises when we have group classes where she would start to make up a melody, and when she tapped you on the shoulder, you had to continue that melody, making something up. So she was introducing us to improvisation
That's
at a very,
jazz, right,
you
right.
know. And so it was very helpful having that, not being afraid to be off the paper and being able to use my ear. So I'm very thankful to her for that.
Right, right.
So I didn't, it was just learning a new language.
Yeah.
And that's how
Yeah.
I learn any language.
Well, and the structures are very different. I mean, classical music tends to be very structured, and jazz is improvisational.
But it has a structure as well, you
Sure.
know. Within that, you have a roadmap. So you have the melody, the song, and you follow that. And then when you start to improvise, you're still following
Within
the directions. Yes.
yeah,
And there's so, you know, jazz is one of those words where all kinds of styles get thrown under that umbrella, but there's so many styles and branches of that music as well.
Right.
But it's there are rules and regulations in that as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah. Who are some of the influences on what you think is your style now? I mean, what musicians did you look at either as a kid or even as an adult and say, that really is what I want to be like, or boy, I like the way he or she does this?
I'd say in high school, one of my closest friends, Carla Cook, she's a phenomenal jazz vocalist from here in Detroit
Sure.
as well. She was the one that introduced me to jazz in 9th grade. She would talk about Eddie Jefferson,
Yeah.
Miles Davis, and
Yeah.
I didn't know who any of these people were.
Is that right?
So she brought in 3 records, Jean-Luc Ponty,
Okay.
Noel Pointer,
Uh-huh.
and Stephen Grappelli. And I went home and put those on. And it was my first introduction to violin
So
and
jazz violin.
Yeah,
sure.
and I thought, you can do this with the violin.
Yeah.
It's on now. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
I had no clue how to go about learning this language. So luckily, once I moved back to Detroit from NEC, from New England, I met, it was just such a, the jazz scene was thriving. So I met folks like Marcus Belgrave,
Yeah.
and we'd have summer camp at his house. Every day we were over there. Ken Cox, the late Ken Cox, great pianist, Lyman Woodard, Wendell Harrison, great saxophonist and clarinetist, and Marion Hayden, who my family and her family had come up together. I was in a group Straight Ahead. So there, I was, all these people, it didn't matter that I played violin.
Right.
They were like, if you want to learn this music, here. And they took us under, all the youngsters under their wings. And so I'm forever thankful that I had those opportunities and right here in this beautiful city.
Right, right. And you're still here giving that back, right? I mean, you're here at Oakland.
Oakland University
as
as
a visiting
artist
artist.
in residence.
Yeah, artist in residence,
Yeah,
right.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And that's super important. I mean, I think what we were talking about earlier with the lack of music opportunities for kids, particularly in Detroit, it's important that people are here trying to give them more of those chances.
Right, and it's wonderful that Marcus is still here, and he runs around. He has more energy than I do, and so he's still teaching and giving and sharing. So many people, and at OU we do a summer camp every summer for 2 days, and it's just open. You don't have to audition. You just come up and have the opportunity to be exposed to improvisation and have some fun. And one of the classes they either take steel pans or African drumming, and so there's so much still that this city has to offer,
There really is, and it's you know, drawing that out of the kids who grew up here, I think, is one of the things that we don't do enough of.
Yeah, and it's so incredibly important because everyone doesn't want to play sports. I didn't. Everyone doesn't have that, and it's been proven for years now, over and over, that music helps us to learn, to concentrate, to focus, to settle down. And so, but I don't know what it's going to take to get it back into our public schools, but just knowing that people like Marcus and Wendell and Marion are still here.
Are
and
still
you have,
here doing these things.
Yeah, you know, Rodney Whitaker, just a lot of the people that I grew up with are here. James Carter, my cousin, here. They're still here and giving. That's really important.
Yeah, yeah. This new album is out. What does that album mean to you, to have that, to be able to share that with your audience?
Well, it's sharing a part of my life, of my father's side of the family, which is important because all of my family makes up who I am.
You.
Yeah,
Right.
and to be able to search for my ancestors and get strength from what they had to go through, and to find that information and just a lot of times people have these views still, these very negative views of the South and what it was, but there's so much beauty that comes out of that. And in researching the music that was coming out of the South during that time, there was some ugly stuff I ran across historically.
Absolutely.
And some of the recordings that were out. And that's important to deal with that and, you know, not bury that music or that art. Let's bring it out and deal with it, because out of that ugliness came some really beautiful music and art. And I
Right.
think we need to celebrate that. And it just gives me strength.
Yeah.
And when those days where I don't feel like going on, or I don't feel like practicing, or I don't feel like it, I was like, you know what? I think about what my
can do this.
ancestors
Right.
went through so that I can. So I can do this. So I don't have a right to say I don't feel like doing this.
That's great. That's great. Just ahead on American Black Journal, we have a very special treat for you. Regina is going to perform right here in our studio. That's next, after this look at some important moments in Detroit's Black history.
I'm Ken Coleman with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1937, Joe Louis became world heavyweight boxing champion by defeating Jim Braddock. In 1949, the Flame Show Bar opened at John R. and Canfield Streets. It became a wildly popular entertainment establishment featuring African American talent. And in 1964, Interstate I-375 opened. The progress of the superhighway helped to destroy the historic and vital area of the city called Black Bottom. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history, taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
Detroit native Regina Carter is embarking on an international tour that coincides with her new album, Southern Comfort. She'll return to her hometown to perform at the Detroit Jazz Festival over the Labor Day weekend. But today, we're lucky enough to have her here in our studio. Here is Regina Carter. Boy, that was fantastic. We'll talk some more with Regina Carter when American Black Journal returns. We've had the privilege of dedicating today's entire program to the life, music, and career of homegrown jazz violinist Regina Carter. Regina was recently awarded a MacArthur Fellowship for displaying outstanding creativity in her work. Congratulations for that. It's a very, very big deal. Those MacArthur grants are huge, first of all, but they're meant to to inspire you to build something inspiring, you know, in your community. So I would imagine we'll see some things that you're doing in Detroit.
Yes,
because
yes,
of
yes.
that. I want to talk a little about you know, that wonderful musical clip. That's a very familiar tune, Amazing Grace, but the way that you play it and the influences that are so obvious in the way that you play it. You know, you can hear jazz in there, you hear bluegrass, lots of bluegrass. I mean, it's all just sort of layered on top of each other layer, and it's so rich in the way that that you do that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and you have to feel that. You can't
Yeah.
you can't produce that off of a piece of paper, right?
Right. No, the notes on the paper, they're just dots.
Right.
And it's like learning a new language. You can see the words there and say them, but you really have to listen to how people speak them, how they pronounce
And
it.
how it feels.
How it feels. You have to understand the culture from which it comes. I think all of that is really important.
Yeah.
So this Southern Comfort is just all of my influences here growing up in Detroit. You know, my father's side being from the South, and most people, like we said, can trace their roots to the South.
Right.
The Midwest, just and all the other cultures from other parts of the the world that have
Sure.
that have migrated.
That are here.
Right. So
Right.
all of that helps to make up my sound and the music that I was listening to. So it's all in there.
Right, right. and the instrument, I mean, anyone who saw that clip can see that's not a violin you went to the corner store and bought. There's something.
I went to the
there's
store
something
next to the corner store.
There's something special about that violin, right?
Well, it's special to me.
Yeah.
It was built in the late 1700s, but it's not a pedigree because a lot of the parts have been changed over
Okay.
the years.
Okay.
So it's not a valuable, monetarily it's not valuable, but it's valuable to me personally. It had the sound. I was looking for a more alto sound, if you will,
Okay.
a darker sound, especially for jazz.
Okay.
And I looked for years and tried several violins, and this was the one that caught my ear. And I've had it since I think since 2001 maybe.
Yeah.
I purchased it in New York.
Wow.
And it's the only one I have. I have another one at home for when I have to put this in the shop, but
Okay.
this is the one that I play on.
That's the
all
one you
time.
use for concerts
Yes.
and albums. And, you know, I'm not sure people quite get how important that is. A piano player, for instance, is going to play lots of different instruments, you know, for concerts and recordings
Right.
and things like that. For a violinist or a trumpet player or somebody, the instrument is very personal and
Yeah.
a very big part of your voice.
Right. Well, for any instrumentalist, our instruments, and it's just unfortunate that because pianists can't travel with
They
their
can't
own piano.
drag a piano around.
No,
right.
they try and request the piano, the maker that they like, but there's no guarantees that it's still going to be the same.
Yeah.
So sometimes they get to an instrument and it's so different from what they play, and it affects how they play.
Sure.
It's the same with violins. You know, you can't I could pick up another violin. I just played a Stradivarius last week
Yeah.
that was going up for auction at the Christie's house. And it was similar to mine, but still a little bit bigger than mine.
Yeah.
So it took me a minute. You can't just pick it up and
You
play.
can't just
have to,
be yourself
No.
on another instrument.
no, no. And the instrument that I choose, each instrument, it has to represent my voice and what I like. And so everyone has their own personal preferences to sound.
Yeah.
Some people like a bright violin, some like it darker, some like when a soloist needs a violin that's going to project and speak over the orchestra.
Right.
So it just depends, and then we modify these instruments too, maybe shaving down the bridge or stuffing the F holes on the side with something to darken it or mute it.
Yeah.
And the bow makes a difference. Every bow makes the
Is
violin
different.
sound different.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. And you like that darker
do.
sound.
I do. Yeah.
It's very different from a sound that you might hear in a symphony
Right.
violin.
Yes, yes. And I prefer having a wood instrument, a real wood instrument, handmade.
Uh-huh.
It sounds very different than the electric instruments. I've done all that. I had
I was
my
gonna say,
electric
you've
back in the
had
day,
right.
and
Yeah.
all the effects and everything. But the older I got, and going back to more traditional jazz, which the record I'll be singing you is music from the 20s and 30s.
Okay.
All of my mother's favorite
Sure.
tunes that she grew up
Right.
listening to here in Detroit. So I wanted, to use my wood acoustic
Going old
violin.
school.
That's
right.
That's right.
Let's talk about that's going to be a big deal when you come back for the Jazz Festival, I think.
I'm excited.
This fall. That's always such a big deal anyway in Detroit, but I think to have you there, that's going to be really special.
Well, I always enjoy coming home. I still consider Detroit my home.
Your home,
yes.
even though you live on the East Coast.
Detroit is home. It
Yeah.
will always be home. It's a very special place for me, just because of all the experiences that I had here. It's a special city. And so I'm always excited. I'm excited about the Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
And
which is doing great now.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, for a while it was a little sketchy, but
Yeah.
you know they're back and people are. It is packed.
which is beautiful, and it's a free festival.
It's free,
And
that's right.
that's amazing in this day and age because, you know, jazz is not the popular
No,
music. And
no.
so many festivals have had to fold, so many clubs and venues. So I'm really, really, really thankful that
Yeah.
the Detroit Jazz Festival has been able
It's
to
still there.
stay and
Yeah,
endure.
Right,
Yes.
right. Well, we will look forward to seeing you on Labor Day weekend.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about Regina Carter at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time on American Black Journal. That was fun.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.